What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about the US dollar because it is really moving, and there are some trade setups that I want to talk to you guys about. So stay tuned. I'm about to jump on the charts, but before I do, make sure to subscribe to the channel down below. And if you're not already a member of the A1 trading community, check it out in the link in the description. You can find out information about our community. If I take any of these actual trades and share them with members, VIP members will be the only ones that are able to see this. So I'll be sharing my trade details, the reasoning behind the trade, the entries, the exits, all of that sort of stuff, so that other people can hopefully get some sort of information or learn from my trades, as well as jump into the chat room and share them with others. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the charts, and I'll be sharing you my concepts on the US dollar for the rest of this week. All right, guys, so as I mentioned, the US dollar is really moving this morning, and I want to talk about why I think that is, as well as some trading setups and some of the top charts that I'll be watching to see if there's any opportunities here. So first of all, I just want to start by saying that the S&P 500 just came down really hard overnight. I guess for me, for other people, it was during the Asian session and London session. We saw a lot of crash underneath this significant level. Now, if you watched yesterday's video about my technical analysis that I share on Sundays, I talked about the fact that if price breaks underneath this is probably slipping down to where I think could actually make its way down to that 200-day moving average. Now, that might take a few days, maybe weeks, but the idea here is the same. We've broken a really key structure point. We put in the lower highs here, and that to me is a pretty bearish signal and could lead to some downside. Now, how is the US dollar reacting to this? Because that's where things get interesting when we cross the stock market with the currency market. Well, the US dollar spiked really hard in that same period of time. So to me, the interesting thing here is, okay, we're on the rise here on the US dollar. We have seen a pretty bullish move on this pair here. This is dollar Swiss on the 4-hour chart. You can see we've been down on the lows for some time here, but now we're seeing some bounce back. And so the question is here, as the stock market, right, if the stock market goes down, is the US dollar going to go up? And that's the question. And the answer is not always yes, but a lot of times it is. A lot of times what we do see is when the stock market gets scary, people move their money into a safe haven such as the US dollar, okay? And so we'll see if that is the case. We do have inflation going on, so we have to be careful, right? We have a lot of money printing, so the US dollar is also going down recently because of that. But from a technical perspective and from a fundamentals, I like the idea of looking for longs in the US dollar if it makes sense. With that said, if the stock market continues to go down, we've seen a really sharp start to the day to the downside there. Things like Euro USD is going to come down hard, right? That's my prediction, at least. My idea is that, okay, I think there's a better chance here that if the stock market comes down, looks like Euro dollar wants to come down with it. As you can see right here, this is the 1-hour chart that we're looking at right here on the Euro USD. You can see nice, really strong sell candles coming in there. And I think that from a Euro dollar standpoint, we'll start with this pair from at least some ideas, okay? So the big area that I'm going to be looking at on this Euro dollar pair is this zone. Now, that looks like a really big zone here on the 1-hour chart. So let's look at the 4-hour chart, and maybe this will make a little bit more sense. Here we go. So we've got this zone here of support, okay? This is hard to deny that this is a strong level of support. Notice how the last couple times price comes down to this area and the US dollar gets weak, sending the Euro dollar up. Why? Let's break that down for you guys who are a little bit newer. The euro is going up when the US dollar is going down. Remember, we're talking about the US dollar today. We're talking about, is the US dollar ready to get strong? So in the case that the euro dollar is actually going down, that's where we're seeing a strong US dollar and a weak euro. Remember, because we're trading these two things against one another. So what a strong dollar implies is actually a break to the downside on Euro USD. So if the stock market continues to be weak, I know we're kind of juggling a bunch of different concepts here, but if the stock market stays weak, I think that potentially poses a stronger dollar. And if there is a stronger dollar, let me show you guys my favorite trade setup right now across the board is a short on Euro USD if we break underneath this level, okay? And looking for some sort of sign of retest, okay? So very simple concept. We've identified a very strong level of support, right? Multiple times where price comes down to this area, that level being more specifically around the 1.1765 zone, let's say. Price gets down to this area only to be met with a lot of bearish weakness and bull strength, right? Because the price jumps right back up. If price breaks lower, right? If we get the clear, basically, on this, I think we're probably headed lower here on Euro USD, and I think there might be a really good short opportunity to look for that weakness and to jump in. So if price breaks underneath, this is what I'd be looking for. I'd be looking for, let me make this red. I'd be looking for a candle that actually shows a pretty good sign of strength, right? We get a little bit more red here. That's going to show me that, okay, sellers have taken over this area. One more thing to combine here. Notice how there's lower highs printing on this trend line. Things are looking bearish. And if we get the break, this is where things get interesting, because I'd be looking for a scenario like this where we see some comeback, and this right here would be the ideal short for me. Looking for that continuation, the break, the retest, and hoping for, we're not hoping for, but looking for the continuation lower. So this is a setup that I am personally watching on Euro USD on the 4-hour and 1-hour chart. Again, we can zoom back to the 1-hour chart for a moment and check this out, guys. So you can see that zone. Remember, we saw it on the 4-hour chart. It made a lot more sense. Now here on the 1-hour chart, we can maybe look for more precise execution. So if we were to see underneath, right? Let's see that level clear. If we get this level cleared, that's a pretty bearish support. That's a supportive level. So if that breaks, that's pretty bearish, right? Looking for the retest of this zone that we highlighted on the 4-hour chart, 1.765, I said, and then looking for the continuation. Now, if we were to take that trade, where are our stops? Where are targets? What are we thinking? Well, let me share you my personal opinion. If I were to take this trade, I'd be looking for a sell on the retest, right? First of all, I want to see that level break, and then I want to get in if there's a retest. If I don't, then I miss the trade, and that's no fun, but it is what it is. On the flip side, again, there was a reason I highlighted this trend line. So my favorite setup here is looking for that downtrend to hold, otherwise get me out of the trade. What I mean by that is I would put stops above this trend line. So let's say roughly here, okay? So then that gives us a prime setup for starters. So we've got our sell. This is where I'm looking to get involved. We've got a stop loss above structure that kind of protects our account from getting, whipsawed out too easily, but also not risking too much. And then I'm looking for the continuation. Now there's a couple different ways you could trade this. For me, I'd probably be trailing this trade in. That's what I'd prefer to do, meaning I would just set the sell, stop loss, move it to break even if price moves into profit, that sort of thing. Of course, if I take any of those trades, I'll be sharing it with members and keeping you guys updated with any actions that I do. By the way, link down below in the description. So that's my favorite setup right now on Euro USD. But let's say that you don't like trailing stops. Let's just really quick talk about some levels that we could think about here. For that, we'll probably need to go to the 4-hour chart. Okay, so this is where things get interesting, because the cool thing here is that if the sell side really picks up, if we see that strength continue, I really don't see much in the way in terms of support until we get down to these areas here at 1.14, let's say. That's a steep drop. In fact, that's currently 370 pips away, right? 380, almost 400 pips away. So there's a lot of downside there. So for me, I'd prefer to trail stops and try and grab this ginormous profit target, although it very much could happen. Another level to think about would be watching for a retest of that 200-day moving average. That is also longer term, but something to at least think about. Okay, so you could also make the argument that you could take profits here, 1.1488. But again, I don't like the idea of trying to predict where it stops as much as just trailing stops personally. So feel free to make your own decision if you decide to take any trades. Again, my personal opinion only on these videos. Let's talk about dollar Canadian, because dollar Canadian, look at this. Actually, this is looking prime as we're looking at it. Check this out. Okay, so this is a really interesting setup as well. 1-hour chart. Let's move it to the 4-hour really quick. Check this out. I love this setup, actually. So dollar Canadian here on the 4-hour chart, trending higher, right? We're overall, we were down. We're seeing higher lows. Strength seems to be there on the side of the dollar. If we get the break here, I think similar concept applies to our Euro USD trade, right? Buying the retest for me seems like the best idea. Stops underneath that trend line that we identified here on that US dollar move up. And in this case, do we have any better profit targets? Let's see. I like this area here, this previous consolidation zone right here on the 4-hour chart. You see it better on the daily, I bet. Yep, so there you go. There's a level. Another key structure level seems right about here. Right, so these would be considered our, our supply zones, right? And so those are two levels of targets that could make sense. But that's a long ways away. That would be a big run to the upside, but it is very possible. You've also got this leg here. You could make the argument for this level as a pretty good profit target. In fact, that one actually makes a lot of sense. It's not too far away, you can see. And relative to a stop, that makes a pretty decent setup. So if we were to buy the retest here, if we get the retest, right? Stops here, targets here, that gives you like a 1-to-1, so not super great. But if you wanted to take partial profits, that could be something to think about there on the US dollar. Canadian dollar might be something to think about. Let's talk about dollar Swiss too, because this one's lagging behind and it makes complete sense. Let me tell you why. The US dollar and the Swiss franc are both considered what? Safe haven currencies. Okay, so the reason this is not dominating the Swiss franc is because both of these are getting money pumped into when things are risky or scary in markets. A lot of times that's what's going to happen. Same with dollar yen. I bet you right now dollar yen is not moving strongly up at all. In fact, I looked at it this morning and it was actually, I think, going down. Yeah, it's going down, right? So we see a little bit of strength, coming in, but for the most part, really not going anywhere. And that's because, again, the US dollar and the Japanese yen are both considered safe haven currencies. People are moving money into these places, so one is not dominating the other. Again, go back to something like dollar Canadian, and we see people pumping money into the dollar over the CAD because people are more trusting of the dollar. It's the worldwide currency in a lot of ways for the time being. So, something to think about. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, like it down below. Subscribe to the channel if you are new so that you get more free content from me and my team putting this content together. Thanks so much. We'll see you back next time.